Fall is in the air, it's almost Halloween, and footballs are in the air too. This is the Region 8 Sports Report. Hello everybody, I'm Buddy Hart with the Region 8 Sports Report. Fall is in the air, it's almost Halloween. Only 2 or 3 weeks left of football season, believe it or not, so things are going to start winding down toward the playoffs here, and we're going to see some very interesting games coming up this weekend. We saw some interesting games last weekend. We've got those scores for you coming up shortly. We've also got some highlights from a pretty darn good football game that was played last Friday night over in Jackson County. The Jackson County Panthers hosted the Hart County Bulldogs. It was a seesaw battle for most of the game, and Hart County finally ended up winning the game, but it was a lot closer than the actual score actually led you to believe that it was. It was a pretty close game too. So we've got the highlights for you. Afterwards, we'll take a look at the rest of the scores though from all the games in Region 8 last Friday night. And we'll take a look at this week's standings as we get closer to the playoffs. Those standings are getting more and more important. And then, of course, we'll take a look at the schedule of games coming up this coming Friday night, just a mere week away from Halloween. So, scary things are afoot. Anyway, let's take a look at some highlights first of all. We have the highlights for you from the Jackson County, Hart County game, and we're going to roll those right now. This week's highlights come from the Hart County Bulldogs, Jackson County Panthers game played in Jackson County last Friday night. To start the game off, Sergio Gomez, the place kicker for Hart County, kicks it off to Jackson County. Chris Griggs takes the kick and returns it back to the 24-yard line. Malik Tuck runs for 10 yards and gets a first down for Jackson County. Jace Laddie passes complete to Chris Griggs down to the 32-yard line. Then Laddie's next pass is tipped by a defender, DJ Kraft, but then caught by Chris Griggs and taken in for a touchdown. Easton Tuggle's extra point is good, and Jackson County leads by a score of 7-0 in the first quarter. Each team has a couple of possessions, then Jackson County gets the ball back after a Hart County punt, and Malik Tuck gains 13 yards on this run. A couple of plays later, Malik Tuck gets it down to the 6-yard line. But the drive stalls, and Easton Tuggle is called on to kick another field goal. And it's good, and Jackson County leads 10-0 in the first quarter. Hart County tried to stir up a little heat when Robert Allen hit Anthony Turner for a 22-yard pass down to the 20-yard line. Then Trey Clark carries down to the 13-yard line. Then Allen hits Maldonado for a 25-yard touchdown pass. Sergio Gomez adds the PAT, and Hart County is now on the scoreboard. 7-10 the score. Jackson County still with the lead. Jackson County then fumbles the ball on the next possession, and Hart County recovers on the Jackson County 32-yard line. But they couldn't move the ball, so they settled for a 47-yard field goal attempt, but it was no good. So the score remains Jackson County 10, Hart County 7. Jackson County takes on offense again. Jace Laddie hit Chase Wester to another Jackson County score. Easton Tuggle adds the point after touchdown, and Jackson County leads 17-7 with 3:48 to go in the first half. Then Hart County's Trey Clark breaks a long run for 75 yards for the Hart County touchdown. The PAT is added with 3:34 to go in the first half. Jackson County now leads 17-14. This is how the first half would end, with Jackson County leading 17-14. The second half kickoff, Jackson County sent a short kick downrange and then covered it. So they started the second half on offense. But they couldn't do anything with it, so Hart County takes over. And quarterback Robert Allen uncorks a 62-yard touchdown pass to Zach Maldonado, and Hart County has their first lead of the night. The extra point by Sergio Gomez is good, and the score is Hart County 21, Jackson County 17. Now it's Jackson County's turn to move the ball. Alec Tuck goes for 17 yards. Then he runs away from the camera for a 32-yard touchdown run. Don't worry, the camera will catch up with him eventually. There he is. The extra point attempt is good, and Jackson County goes back on top, 24-21. Here comes Hart County again. Trey Stowers runs for 19 yards to the 48-yard line. Robert Allen hits Anthony Turner for a swing pass for a first down. But the drive stalls and the quarter changes. We go to the fourth quarter with the score still Jackson County 24, Hart County 21. Hart County puts together a long, consuming drive down to the Jackson County 37, where it looks like it's about to stall. Then on fourth and long, quarterback Robert Allen hits Maldonado for a first down at the 22-yard line. Then Trey Stowers gets down to the 5-yard line. Stowers then gets 1 yard down to the 1. And finally into the end zone. The PAT is good, and Hart County goes back on top 28-24. Jackson County back on offense. Jace Laddie's pass to, well, it was picked off by Hart County's Zach Maldonado, who takes it all the way down 55 yards for a pick six. The extra point is good, and Hart County is now up by a score of 35-24 with just 3:11 to go in the game. But Jackson County's offense is trying to move the ball again. Then on fourth down, they go for it, and on fourth down and long, but they can't make the connection. Hart County takes over. And on one play, that's all it takes for Hart County to get one more touchdown by Trey Clark, as he goes 32 yards for the touchdown. The point after touchdown is no good, and you have your final score, Hart County 41, Jackson County 24. That's the way the game would end right there. Coming up next week for both teams, Hart County will host Oconee County next Friday night, and Jackson County will host East Jackson County. Those are their games coming up next weekend. All right, there you have the highlights of the Hart County-Jackson County game played last Friday night. A very good game, seesaw battle back and forth. Hart County, of course, finally held on to win that game, but it was a good game last Friday night at Jackson County High School. We're going to take a look coming up shortly here at all of the games that were played last Friday night. We'll take a look at all the scores from those games, and we'll do that right after this break. We'll be back with more of the Region 8 Sports Report right after this. Back with the Region 8 Sports Report. It's time to take a look at all the scores from all the games from Region 8 last Friday night, and here are those scores right now. Time to look at the scores from last Friday night, the games of October 16th, 2015. And we will start with Region 8 6A, and that's an 8 with 6 A's stacked up behind it. And the first score is Archer and Shiloh. Archer apparently a fairly easy time with Shiloh Generals. Archer winning by a score of 56-6 in that game. Brookwood and Decula, pretty close game here. Decula wins by a score of 38-21. Grayson and Central Gwinnett. Grayson scoring 35 points. Central Gwinnett only scoring 2. They managed to get a safety, but anyway, the final score, Grayson 35, Central Gwinnett 2. It was Parkview over South Gwinnett by a score of 42-28 in a fairly good game there. Moving now to Region 8 5A. That's 8 with 5 A's behind it. The Wildcats racked up 150 yards total offense, 89 of which were by Stephen Massillon, which I'm probably mispronouncing the name. I apologize. But anyway, Flowery Branch Falcons got more. So the quarterback Corey Graham passed for 2 touchdowns on 5 completions and 105 yards passing. And Trey Wilcox carried the ball 15 times for 86 yards and 3 touchdowns. The final score, Flowery Branch 41, Appalachia 6. Winnebago turned the ball over 5 times and were trailing 25-10 going into the fourth quarter. But the Double G Dogs came back with the help of C.C. Green, scoring 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and the Bulldogs won by a score of 30-25 over Cedar Shoals to keep those playoff hopes alive. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Clark Central quarterback Jack Mangle got 344 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. The Gladiators also scored on a safety and a fumble return for a touchdown. Clark Central shocked Gainesville by a score of 44-7. In other games in Region 8 5A, it was Heritage and Lanier. Lanier, an easy winner in that game. Lanier won by a score of 42-0. It was Loganville over Salem. Loganville keeps their winning ways intact as they defeated Salem by a score of 20-9. And that's all the scores in Region 8 5A. Moving along now to Region 8 4A. Quarterback Mick Roof threw 3 touchdown passes in the second quarter to lead Buford to a 51-0 win over Monroe area. Roof was 10 of 13 passing for 154 yards in the air. Other games in Region 8 4A, it was Chestatee and Stevens County. Stevens County a winner by a score of 40-21. It was East Hall over Johnson of Gainesville by a score of 24-14. North Hall defeated Madison County, handing them yet still another loss. North Hall wins by a score of 56-28. And it was White County and North Oconee playing a matchup the last Friday night. North Oconee County wins by a score of 20-0 over White County. Moving along now to Region 8 AAA. That's 8 with 3 A's behind it. And the first game up is Jefferson and East Jackson, and Jefferson remains undefeated atop the leaderboard in Region 8 3A. Jefferson handed East Jackson another loss by a score of 49-0 last Friday night. Not to be outdone, Hart County is only a game or 2 behind them. Hart County defeated Jackson County. The game, of course, you saw the highlights to just a few moments ago here. That score, Hart County 41, Jackson County 24. The only other score in 8 AAA, Oconee County and Morgan County. Oconee County remains undefeated in the region. Oconee County defeated Morgan County 26-13. We continue on to Region 8 AA. That's an 8 with 2 A's behind it. And take a look at the games that were played last Friday night in Region 8 2A. It was Riverside Military Academy and Oglethorpe County in a close game last Friday night. Oglethorpe County picking up the win. They defeated Riverside Military Academy 21-16. It was Union County and Raven County, a game that had been hyped as being a really big game, and it was, but it was kind of like a letdown. Raven County pretty much had their way with them. Raven County 49, Union County 3. That was a little bit of a shock there. It was expected to be a lot closer game than that. Social Circle and Washington Wilkes. Washington Wilkes a winner by a score of 35-7. In Region 8 Single A, take a look at the games that were played last Friday night. It was Athens Academy over Lakeview Academy by a score of 41-10. And George Walton, Athens Christian, this is the closest game of the weekend. Athens Christian wins by 1 point, 27-26. Commerce defeated Providence, shut them out by a score of 45-0. And it was Prince Avenue over Towns County by a score of 42-14. And that gets you up to date on all of the games played last Friday night in Region 8 Single A all the way up to Region 8 6A. Ah, yes, fall is in the air, and so are the mosquitoes. Okay. Anyway, those are the scores from last Friday night. Let's take a look now at the standings. As we get closer to the playoffs, those standings are going to be very important. And we see a few changes in the standings this week from last week, and we'll probably even see more next week. So here are the standings this week in Region 8, starting with Region 8 6A going down to Region 8A. So here's the standings, first of all, from Region 8 6A. Time once again to take a look at the standings this week, and we'll start with Region 8 6A, as is usually the case. And not a change as far as the top of the leaderboard is concerned here. Grayson still at the top. They are 6-0 in region play, 8-0 in overall play. Tequila right behind them with a 4-1 record in the region. Archer also now at 4-1 in the region. Brookwood at 4-2. They are 4-4 overall. Central Gwinnett 3-2, 4-3 overall. Parkview is at 3-2. They are 5-2 overall. South Gwinnett 0-6 on the region and 1-7 overall. Shiloh and Berkmar both at 0-5 in the region and 0-7 overall. So we see that Grayson all alone at the top with a 6-0 record in region play, followed by Tequila and Archer tied for second. And for the third place, it's Brookwood with a 4-2, and then Central Gwinnett at 3-2 in the region. Moving to Region 8 5A, and what a confusing story we have here. In first place, it's easy. Lanier 6-0 overall, 7-0 overall, 6-0 in the region. Then we get confusing. Loganville 6-1, so they're in second place. Their only loss coming to Lanier. That's pretty solid second place. Then in third place, we have a tie. 4-2 Gainesville, 4-2 Winder Barrow, and following them is Flowery Branch 4-3. Salem is at 3-3. Clark Central also at 3-3. Cedar Shoals at 1-5. Appalachia at 0-6, and Heritage at 0-6 in the region play. So we see a little bit of confusion toward the mid area there. Lanier at the top all alone, Loganville in second, and then a tie for third and fourth. Flowery Branch is right behind them with a 4-3 record, so it's going to be kind of confusing to see what happens there. The next couple of weeks will tell the tale in Region 8 5A. Moving along now to Region 8 4A. And Beaufort and Stevens County all alone at the top. Beaufort 4-0, 6-1 overall. Stevens County 4-0, 6-1 overall. North Oconee at 3-1 in the region. North Hall at 2-2 in the region. Madison County 1-3. White County 1-3. Monroe area 1-3. And Chestatee at 0-4. And Johnson not playing a region schedule, but they are 2-6 overall. So we see Beaufort and Stevens County tied for first place, and North Oconee is in second, and then North Hall is at 2-2, looking for that fourth place spot, and still a lot of people looking for that spot. But that's the way things stack up in Region 8 4A. Moving now to Region 8 3A, not much going on here. It's pretty much cut and dry. Jefferson all alone at the top with a 4-0 record. Oconee County in a virtual tie with them with a 3-0 record in the region. Elbert County at 2-1. Their only loss came to Jefferson, of course. Morgan County at 1-2. Hart County 2-1. They actually should be above Morgan County there. Sorry about that. Kind of goofed that one up. Jackson County at 0-4 in the region, 3-5 overall. East Jackson 0-4 in the region, 1-7 overall. So we see that Jefferson is alone in first, actually in a virtual tie with Oconee County for first at both undefeated 4-0 and 3-0. Elbert County at 2-1, and then it would be Hart County at 2-1, not Morgan. So that's sort of how that should be stacked up. But that's the way things are stacked up in Region 8 3A. Moving along now to Region 8 2A. Raven County at 4-0 in the region, 7-1 overall. Washington Wilkes 3-0 in the region, 3-4 overall. Union County at 3-1. Their only loss coming to Raven County, 7-1 overall. Greene County is at 1-2, 3-4 overall. Oglethorpe County at 1-3, 1-7 overall. Social Circle 0-3, 2-5 overall. Riverside Military Academy 0-3 in the region and 1-6 overall. So we see Raven County is in first, virtual tie with Washington Wilkes. And then you've got Union County with 3-1, and then everybody else. So that's the way things stack up in Region 8 2A. Moving along to 8 Single A, we see that Prince Avenue is at the top of the leaderboard with a 6-0 region record, 8-0 overall. Athens Academy 4-1 in the region, 6-1 overall.
George Walton at 3-2, 3-4 overall. Hebron is also at 3-2, as is Commerce at 3-2. Athens Christian 3-3, Lakeview Academy 1-4, Towns County at 1-5, and Providence at 0-5, 0-7 overall. So we see Prince Avenue in first, 6-0, Athens Academy second, 4-1, and then a tie between George Walton, Hebron, and Commerce, all at 3-2. And that's the way things stack up in Region 8 Single A. And that's all of the standings, as a matter of fact, from Single A all the way up to 6A.
All right, there are the standings from Region 8A, and you can see by looking at those standings where your favorite team comes in lines 1 through whatever, you know. But it is what it is. It's getting close to playoff season, and those standings are going to be real important as we get closer to playoff time. Some schools only have a couple of games left. Some have 3 games left. But it's getting close now to the end of the season, and we're going to start paying real close attention to those standings. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will look at the schedule of games coming up this Friday night in Region 8. Back once again with the Region 8 Sports Report. 30 minutes with us every week, and you are thoroughly up to date with what's going on in high school football in Region 8. All right, let's take a look now at the games scheduled for this weekend in Region 8 football.
Time to look at the upcoming schedule of games scheduled for October 23rd, this coming Friday night, and we will start with 8-6A, as we usually do. And the first game on that list is Central Gwinnett at Archer. Of course, big game for Archer. They're still looking for a playoff spot, and Central Gwinnett could play spoiler in that game. South Gwinnett will be at Berkmar coming up Friday night. Decula will play Grayson. Grayson, of course, they're undefeated statute on the lines, and Decula still trying to get into a playoff spot here. Shiloh will be at Parkview, and that is the list of all the games in Region 8 6A. Moving now to Region 8 5A. Heritage will be at Appalachia. Cedar Shoals will be at Gainesville. Clark Central pays a visit to Winder Barrow this Friday night. Lanier will be at Salem, and those are the games in Region 8 5A. Moving along to Region 8 4A, North Oconee will be at Buford to take on the Wolves. White County will be at Chestatee. Madison County will take on Stevens County, and North Hall will be at Monroe area. The game scheduled for Region 8 AAA. East Jackson will be at Jackson County, cross-county rivals coming up there this Friday night. Morgan County will be at Elbert County. Blue Devils still trying to get into the playoffs. Oconee County will be at Hart County. This is a big game toward the playoffs as well. Oconee County undefeated in the region. Hart County with only 1 loss in the region. Now moving along to 8AA. Riverside Military Academy will be at Greene County. Oglethorpe County will be at Social Circle. Washington Wilkes will travel up to Raven County. These are the top 2 teams in Region 8AA playing each other to figure out which one is the best. Moving now to Region 8 Single A. Athens Academy will be at Providence. Athens Christian travels to Lakeview Academy. Commerce will have to travel to Towns County this weekend. And Hebron Christian will be at George Walton. And that's a list of all the games coming up this Friday night in Region 8.
So there you see it. Now you know who's playing who coming up this Friday night in Region 8. And some pretty good games coming up. Some very important games coming up with some implications toward the playoff picture. Those are coming up this Friday night. So we're going to have some good games for you. We'll have all the scores for you next week, and we'll have some highlights from a game. I'm not even sure which game yet. We'll figure that one out shortly here. But anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and wrap it up for you right after this on the Region 8 Sports Report. All right, you've seen the scores from last Friday night. You've seen the highlights from Hart County, Jackson County. You've seen the standings. You've seen the list of games coming up this Friday night. You are now a scholar in Region 8 sports, or in football anyway. All right. Anyway, that's our show for this week. I'm going to get in out of the mosquitoes. killing me out here. But anyway, we'll have another show for you next week on the Region 8 Sports Report. Go out and support your favorite high school football team and join us next week right here for the Region 8 Sports Report. I'm Buddy Hardigree. I'm out of here.
Remember, if you have questions or comments or anything you'd like to see about our program, be sure to give us a line, av1productions30680@gmail.com. Once again, that's av1productions30680@gmail.com. Or if you prefer the good old-fashioned U.S. Postal Service, AV1 Productions, 1021 Jefferson Highway, Winder, Georgia, 30680. Once again, that's AV1 Productions, 1021 Jefferson Highway, Winder, Georgia, 30680.